Cibola Arts Council. I'm here. I'd like to go ahead and start this off by welcoming everyone. On behalf of Sacred Wind Communications, Connect 66 Internet, and the Cibola Arts Council, I welcome you here this morning to the Native Basket Array Walkabout. Before we start walking from one basket to the next, there are individuals who have worked diligently on this project and must be thanked. I would like to acknowledge the Native Basket Array Committee, whose members are John and Adriana Badal. John, of course, is the CEO of Sacred Wind. And also with us this morning is Catherine Nicola, to my right. She is the External Affairs Manager of Sacred Wind Communications and is responsible for organizing this event this morning. Other committee members include Tammy Legler, Executive Director, Grants Chamber of Commerce, New Mexico Mining Museum. Tammy is with us this morning. Eileen Yarborough, Executive Director, Cibola Communities Economic Development Foundation. She actually had a meeting in Santa Fe and cannot be here with us this morning. The other committee member is Mr. Gilbert Wakanda, who is an associate at the Cibola Arts Council and is also one of the artists involved in the Native Basket Array. Mr. Wakanda, are you here? There we go. The distinguished gentleman with the black hat. Also, I'd like to commend the Native Basket Array engineer and setup crew, Mr. Michael Brown. I know I saw him earlier. Mike's in the back there. Larry Chavez. Larry. I know Larry's here. There we go. And of course, Larry, sidekick and actually hands-on basket worker, Eli Chavez. Thank you, Eli. Finally, I want to thank Grants Mayor Martin Hicks, the Grant City Council, and City Manager Laura Jaramillo. You know, the mayor and Laura were behind this project from day one. I think that John Badal had made a presentation at City Hall back in November. I remember sitting with the mayor having coffee across the street, and I started to talk to him about the project. He said, "Don't worry about it. We want this project." So we thank you. The Native Basket Array project would never have occurred without John Badal's vision. This vision has created visual poetry along our stretch of Route 66 throughout downtown Grants, New Mexico. It has created a one-of-a-kind windshield gallery where citizens and tourists alike can admire the history and art as they drive or walk by the Native Basket Array. The potential for an increase in tourism depends on how the Native Basket Array is promoted. We look forward to moving the project into the village of Milan and on the south side of Route 66 in Grants. So this project is nowhere over. This is just, I would call this the second phase. And right now, it's starting to get feedback from the community. I appreciate everyone coming out this morning. I think we are going to start the walkabout right now, and we are going to start with Navajo wedding basket. There's one thing to remember about Navajo wedding baskets. The entrance, or this section here, must always either face to the east or be straight up. It's like hanging a horseshoe. If you hang it the wrong way, then you have bad luck. You're always supposed to hang it in the U shape. The same goes with the basket. We almost made a big mistake, had it hung wrong. Gary Ozzie, who's an artist friend of mine, came into the gallery and said, are you involved with the baskets out there? I said, yes. He said, well, you've got it upside down. So thanks to Larry Chavez and the crew, they got out here, and now it's hung exactly the way it's supposed to be hung. We have to make sure we follow protocol when it comes to hanging baskets. At this point, I'd like to move on down to the next basket. There is something I'd like to address, though, with the baskets. A lot of folks are bothered by the missing piece, or the donut appearance of them. Let me tell you that we're working on that. You'll notice that some of the baskets look a little out of balance without that. So that will probably be addressed in the near future by Sacred Wind. This right here is the basket done by Leslie Williams. Leslie is with us this morning. Take it away, Leslie.
Hi there. Thank you. Hi, my name's Leslie. I am an artist from Albuquerque. Like Sam, I only found out about the competition about 2 days before the deadline, so I had to get inspired and get busy very quickly doing research. I'm not a tribal member, but I've spent a lot of time on the Pueblos, and I lived on a reservation in South Dakota and taught at a tribal college there for many years. So it was easy to get inspired. I went back, I did research on some of the traditional weavings of the baskets of the Pueblos around here, but I didn't want to do anything that remotely could be considered a literal depiction. So I just kind of took that influence, tried to put my own spin on it. I do a lot of imagery that has crows and ravens. My studio, my business is called Laughing Crow Studio. So it seemed kind of natural to put the crow in there, and that ties in with a lot of Native American traditions of folklore. And I just picked the colors because red and black's a couple of colors that I use a lot, again, in my artwork. And it just kind of all came together at the last minute, and I sent it off, and here I am today. So I'm glad it all worked out.
This right here is the mission at San Jose, Laguna, Pueblo basket by Gilbert Wakanda. Mr. Wakanda is here this morning. Take it away.
Thank you, Robert. First off, I'd like to Wazi, Seopa, Gaito, Straight Josh in Laguna. That means good hello, good morning to you all. And I just like to make a few comments about my dish. It does represent our Laguna St. Joseph mission, because it sits there right off right off I-40, so a million people see it as they go by every day. And it's a sad fact that they closed down the scenic view now by the Department of Transportation. They closed it down, but you know, a lot of that's a big photo out there that they got rid of. But to explain my design, the center, like I said, is the St. Joseph Mission. These represent rain, because it's in pottery designs, all the lines represent rain. The symbol here that you see that go around the outside represent prayer feathers, because we're always praying for rain. And the blue represents the waters of what used to be the Old Lady Lake, or the original where Laguna was. Laguna's traditional name is Kawake, which means, in our language, means lake. So that's how I came up with this design. And I wasn't going to enter the contest because I was on the committee, but then my board members at the Sequel Arts Council told Robert that I think he should, because you know he's an artist. So I went ahead and submitted this design, and I was surprised that it won. Actually surprised that it won. So, but that's it. If you have any more questions, feel free to ask.
So this is the Jicarilla Apache Star Basket. It says Artist Unknown. I would like to say that this basket is here courtesy of the Maxwell Museum. Okay, it's something I neglected to say about the Navajo basket. It's also here, courtesy of the Maxwell Museum, University of New Mexico. The information on it talks about this design actually incorporates, it's kind of a celestial design. The star itself is the Eastern Star, of course, which we know as Venus. The signage, which was a fantastic idea, not only tells about the basket itself, but also on the backside, it gives credit to those who are involved in the project. The project is far from over. Like I said earlier, we're going into Milan to the south side. The other place where I'd like to see a basket is right at the corner of the Mining Museum, because as an array, you're looking, you want to see one right after the other. So as we go over there, where's Tammy at? Is Tammy around? Tammy got lost. But anyway, I need to speak with her about that. The other thing is the layout of the baskets actually involved not only myself, but it was mostly Tammy did a walkthrough with me before there was a basket here, and so did Laura. Laura made sure that the city of Grants would be happy with how it was laid out. We know that Fire and Ice is used for many different occasions, and we wanted to make sure that it could still be used by all organizations, with us not having a minimal impact on the grounds there. So please take your time, walk through, read the information. John had also talked about creating a special app so that you could listen to information about the basket on your smartphone. This basket is also inside the museum. And so what we wanted to do with this basket is we wanted people to be able to read about it and then take them inside so they can see the Grants connection to the basket array. It is that this basket was found by Boy Scouts back about 30 years ago out in El Malpais in a cave. Boy Scouts were saying, "Oh, we got it made. We found something very valuable here." But the Scoutmaster told them, "Nope, it belongs to the landowner." The landowner then turned around and gave it to Chamber of Commerce, Mining Museum. It's on exhibit in there. I hope that when folks come out here to see this, they will also know about the Grants connection to this installation. In fact, when I met with John early December, I said, "Hey John, we have a basket." And so John immediately wanted to incorporate, make sure that this was part of the exhibit. It's the lead off to the array. When we first set it up, we made a little mistake. We had it down the street and we had the Hickorea basket here. So we had to go back to start, bring it here. We're glad it's here. We're glad it's inside. Tammy, of course, director of the chamber, she's the one that pulled out the basket and kind of opened up the cabinet for me and said, "Take a close look to it." I did make one mistake. I didn't put on gloves before I touched the basket. So if fingerprints show up and I've contaminated the basket, I'm taking full responsibility for that.
I'm Catherine Nicolau again with Sacred Wind Communications and Connect 66 Internet. I want to thank each and every one of you for coming out here this morning, making the trip. So Connect 66 Internet, powered by Sacred Wind Communications, is very proud of this next phase of the project. We wanted you all to see it in its completed form. Thankfully, it's up in time for the Fall Festival. This is it next weekend, I believe? 2 weeks. In 2 weekends. So the community can use this whole basket array to showcase the Grants Milan area. John Bedell is on vacation. He's out of the country. That's why he's not here today. Otherwise, he would be here. This is his heart. This is, just as it is for the Cibola Arts Council. So what we're going to do right now is there's some photo opportunities. You know, the artists are here. If you haven't gotten a chance to ask a question or talk to the artist, you know, they're here, so you can do that. You can grab a photo. So we've got refreshments and stuff to munch on. You can also go into the mining museum and look at the Chacoan basket and a lot of other wonderful things. So thank you again on behalf of all of us. Thank you, guys.
Thanks to all the artists that did this from the city of Graz. Thanks to all the artists that did this.